Bardzo dziękuję panu prezesowi Durosessa za również niezmiernie interesujące i bogate w szczegóły wystąpienie. Chociaż organizatorzy powierzyli mi obowiązki prowadzącego ten panel, za co w tym miejscu chciałbym bardzo serdecznie podziękować, to nie miałbym z pewnością śmiałości prosić poszczególnych występujących o dochowywanie dyscypliny czasowej. Na szczęście okazało się tutaj zupełnie zbędne, ponieważ wszyscy referenci sami bardzo dokładnie przestrzegali tej dyscypliny czasowej, za co bardzo serdecznie również chciałbym referentom podziękować. I dzięki temu nie tylko już nie mamy tego umiarkowanego opóźnienia, o którym mówiłem na początku, ale nawet mamy niewielkie wyprzedzenie w stosunku do planu. W związku z tym swoich uprawnień prowadzącego panel chciałbym użyć albo może nadużyć w inny sposób, mianowicie proponując, byśmy może już teraz zaczęli dyskusję na temat tego, co tutaj powiedziano, dlatego że z tego, co zaobserwowałem, co prawda byłem skupiony na przewijaniu prezentacji, ale również obserwowałem reakcje uczestników i zaobserwowałem, że niektórzy z Państwa chcieliby już w tym miejscu zabrać głos. Więc może chciałbym zaproponować w takim razie do godziny 11:30 krótką dyskusję. Prosiłbym w takim razie każdego z zabierających głos również w miarę możliwości o zwięzłość, a także z racji tego, że nasze obrady są rejestrowane, prosiłbym o przedstawianie się na początku każdego z wystąpień. A więc kto z Państwa chciałby zabrać głos?
I'm Sabine Stut from Germany, judge. And I just want to say we have all these really good rules. For years and years, CCGE and ENC made those really great opinions. We can read that, all the standards, and they are fine. But what do we do if politicians don't follow? And they just want to break it.
I think for the beginning you could pose some easier question than this one. I will give you the example from Croatia. Opinion number 18 of CCJ was relation between the political powers and judiciary. And it was very fine opinion, and it was published in Croatian and as a booklet and delivered to every member of the parliament. It is 150 of them. Nobody answered and says only to say thank you. So that is how they see judiciary. I think that what one of the Croatian poets said, that about the same you have always to speak the same. So I think that's the only way how the judges should act is to ask for the public support if possible, to ask for the media support if possible but not likely, and also to try to persuade to speak about these things again and again. That is the only way. And of course, in some countries, small countries, less influential, sometimes those opinions come from the abroad. For example, in Croatia, in other countries which started to develop democratic process, what judges did, we tried to sell these ideas to the experts from abroad and to the in EU, in Brussels and in Strasbourg, and to give this and to persuade them to persuade domestic politicians to apply such kind of standards. I think that is one way, but of course each country has to find, each judiciary has to find its own ways. I'm sorry that we don't have politicians here in this conference, at least one or two. Perhaps that will be the big step forward in these efforts.
I would also like to say something on this issue. What are the standards? The standards are what judges or counsels for the judiciary in the CCJE or in the ENCJ believe that would be the best. But if we look at the different judicial systems in the countries, we found out that, for instance, in the ENCJ, we have 8 countries in the European Union that have no councils, amongst them Germany. And the trust in the judiciary is very high, and people seem to be more happy with the system than people in countries with long tradition for councils for the judiciary, where the level of trust in the judiciary is lower. So the standards have to be applied regarding the situation of the country and the involvement of the judiciary as a whole. They're not what everybody has to fulfill. And in fact, not every one of our members fulfills every single standards, which may not be a problem if the system works well and we accept them, and they're still our members, although they do not fulfill everything. And so we have to be cautious with their standards. They are good, but we have to look at the systems. And for instance, in my country, and I would like to point this out because it's usually said that the system that wants to be introduced in Poland is like the Spanish system. The constitution foresees a council of 20 members, 12 judges and 8 non-judges. In the first elections in 1980, the 12 judges were elected among judges. In 1985, the law was changed, and they were all elected by the parliament. And now we have a different system, a mixed system, I like to say. The 12 judges have to be proposed either by the judicial associations or by the judges themselves, supported by 25 judges. And the parliament is obliged to choose among these judges. So when I explain this according to the ENCJ standards, they are not elected directly by their peers, but they are elected indirectly by their peers. They are proposed only by judges. That's not the proposal that's on the table in Poland, where 2,000 citizens, as far as I know, may introduce their candidacies, or even people coming from other legal professions, as notary or lawyers, may also introduce their candidacy for the judicial members of the country. So standards have to be applied, but we also have to be careful with what we say about the standards.
Just one thing to add. If you know that the last Greco, that group of countries against corruption, was dealing with the fight against corruption among judges, prosecutors, and parliament, and members of the parliament, not by that order, by parliament, judges, and prosecutors. And in their work, they used a lot of these standards of the bodies regarding judiciary, like CCGA, NCGA, CEPEJ, and so on. And those recommendations of Greco are more serious because they are following developments after the recommendations are done in the opinions, and the states have to report what they did. In some of the countries, even they are in the process of changing the constitution because of these recommendations of Greco. So there are ways how to fight. It is long run. It's not nothing which can happen in brief.
O zadanie pytania poproszę pana dziekana, bo się zgłaszał.
Chciałem zadać pytanie do naszych gości ze stowarzyszenia. Czy państwa zdaniem mamy do czynienia z naruszeniem niezawisłości sędziowskiej i apolityczności sędziów w sytuacji, kiedy sędziowie biorą udział w manifestacji, która ma na celu obronę niezależności wymiaru sprawiedliwości? W Polsce formułowane są bowiem takie twierdzenia, że sędziowie nie mają prawa brać udziału w takiego rodzaju manifestacjach, ponieważ jest to już, ma to charakter polityczny, a sędziowie powinni być apolityczni. Co Państwo sądzicie o takich zachowaniach? Czy one są do pogodzenia ze standardami wynikającymi z Państwa doświadczeń?
Sorry. I can rely on the CCJ opinion number 7 about justice and society, which says that the judges should be very cautious about this political involvement. But when the public debate is taken about the position of judiciary, the judges should be free to take such kind of statements and to take the floor in such debates. It depends, of course, on the culture and tradition of each country, what kind of how they would act in that way. But I don't think that when judges are speaking about the position of judiciary and when they take a floor to fight for the principles of independence, that is the political involvement. There are other ways where the judges are breaking that line and going to the political involvement. But this is not. I don't think this would be a question. And this is a classical argument of the executive when the judges are speaking something about the position of judiciary, that is the political involvement. That is not the case in my strong belief.
And for the ENCJ, it would be also a question of ethics. In our report on ethics, we mentioned that judges, as Mr. Cesar has said, should be cautious in involving in political and public affairs. But when democracy and the fundamental rights and the rule of law are in peril, they have the duty to speak out. So that this has been developed or defined as a duty, not only that they may speak out, but they have the duty to speak out and be a guidance for the society to defend these fundamental values on which the whole society is built.
Hello to everybody. I am Omer Hadžiomerović. I am the Vice President of the Judges Association of Serbia. And I come from one country. First of all, I apologize for my English. It's very bad, but I hope that you will understand what I want to say. I come from one country which is candidate to be member of the EU. And we had the screening. And after that, the obligation of our country is to exclude the parliament of the election of the members of High Judicial Council. And I don't know what is the standard in EU if the situation in Poland is that the parliament will be elect the member of the High Judicial Council. I think that the standards are very clear. It's completely clear what is the standard regarding the independence of judiciary. We should transfer those standards in our law to give the legal guarantee of independence. And why is so important Judicial Council for the politicians? Because the Judicial Council should give those legal standards to become the real standard, to protect all legal guarantees are not, there is no reason if we have not the council who will protect that. And I don't know, we discuss in Serbia about the constitutional, to change the constitution regarding the judiciary. And it's completely clear that the politicians want to find a new way to have the influence in judiciary. They said, okay, we will put out the ministry of the High Judicial Council, but they talk about the academy as the only way to become a judge. And the academy is not independent. So they always open the new door for the independence. And the question is why the politicians don't apply the international standards? They want to have the, or they don't know to do that, or they want to do that. I think they want to do that. And the question is for us, judges, what can we do? What can we do in that situation? Of course, we should not deal with politics. We are not politicians. But in the measure which the politics deal with judiciary, we should be also a little bit politicians. And to see what can we do in that situation. I will finish. It's very strange that I think that we need the support of the civil society. I think it's very strange that judges fight for the independence. They are first in that fight. The independence is not in favor of judges, the citizens. It's a little bit paradox. And I think that we should have the support to explain to the citizens what is the importance of the independence of judiciary. I don't know. What can we do? We in Serbia, we fight now. We address to EU institutions. But I don't know now what is the practice in EU. I think that it's very difficult to become the member of EU. And when you become the member, regarding the standards of judiciary, there is no any standards. You can do as you want. Okay, thank you.
Bardzo dziękuję za ten cenny głos. Are you going to reply directly or not? Okej. W takim razie proponuję, by jeszcze zabrali głos panowie w kolejności zgłoszeń, czyli pan w górnej części sali, następnie pan sędzia i na tym zakończylibyśmy tę dyskusję przed zaplanowaną przerwą.
Thank you. My name is Vasilis Androulakis. I am a judge in the Council of State of Greece. I would like to ask a question to Mrs. Nouria Diaz-Abad. You talk us about accountability. Can you explain briefly what do you mean by accountability of a judge, not for the accountability of the justice system, but accountability for a judge? What's the procedure of the accountability? Because I am afraid that a lot of accountability could be harmful for the independence, for the impartiality of a judge. I don't know if I'm provocative, but I really have that question. Thank you.
So to start with this last question, we think in ENCJ that if a judge is independent, he has to be accountable by society. That's the other part of seeing the role of the judge in society. And we have developed a series of standards on accountability. Just to mention two that posed problems for Spain because we had to introduce some changes. The code on ethics. If society sees that a judge wants to behave in an ethical way, that's a good way of present the judges to society, because otherwise you see judges as somebody who are far away from ordinary life. No, we have developed some codes on ethics that makes them accountable to society. A second example is that we ask our members and observers to develop some system to make external activities for judges public. If we in the council allow a judge to teach, people on the street should know that he teaches and in which university, because somebody might have processes against this university, and maybe he can recuse the judge, or the judge himself could withdraw from this process. So these measures on accountability, of course, it's something that should not interfere in the independence of the judge, but it makes the judge as a profession more closer to the public. And the question from Serbia I would like to address also, because joining the EU requires fulfilling several requirements regarding the rule of law. And then we have found out that several countries, after having joined the EU, there was no real control on whether they still fulfilled these standards on democracy, fundamental rights, and the rule of law. And here the European institutions had to react in two ways. On the one hand, you know that there exists the possibility that the Commission initiates a procedure according to Article 7 of the Treaty of the European Union to see if this country still is in line with the fundamental values of the European Union. And on the other hand, the European Parliament has started some interparliamentary sessions to develop a scoreboard on democracy, fundamental rights, and the rule of law. And they want, in future, every single member state to pass this exam regularly, so that it is not only something for a country with problems like Article 7, but it will be in future something that every country, if they want to maintain the status of members, should fulfill, and they want to have a picture of the indicators on democracy, fundamental rights, and the rule of law. You want to add something?
Yeah, just to that question, I would like to refer to the opinion number 18 of the CCGA, especially conclusions numbers 6, 7, 8, and 9, where exactly the CCJ speaks about the accountability to the state, to the other powers, to the citizens, how the judiciary is, how the power of judges is exercised, and that we are speaking about the accountability through appeal process, the accountability through working in a transparent way, and thirdly, what could be the impunitive accountability, where the judges are doing wrongly intentionally. So these are the elements of this accountability. Of course, there could be a lot of other approaches to this issue, but one way is this opinion number 18. I would like to refer to that if anybody is interested in.
Thank you very much. My name is Ebo Suji. I'm a judge of the ICC. The questions, what can be done, has been asked by a number of people. Is it protests or what? Now, I express no view now. I have my turn in the afternoon to speak on my own topic. But for now, I just want to share an experience. In Canada, there was something that happened about judicial independence. There are two branches of judges. There is the Superior Court, and there are the provincial courts. The Superior Court judges all the way to the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, and High Court judges had a system of revising their pay periodically to upgrade it to account for inflation. But the judges in the provincial court who did most of the criminal cases, there was no such system in place for them for a long time. Then it was the accused persons in some cases who went to court and said, look, by not upgrading the pay of provincial court judges, the government was allowing or impeding on their judicial independence. And because of that, it deprived them, the accused persons in criminal cases, the right to fair and impartial tribunal with judicial independence. Therefore, not upgrading the pay of provincial court judges was a violation of the rights of accused persons in criminal cases. I know that European court, Europe has a robust human rights court. I do not know whether that kind of litigation has happened there. If so, maybe somebody can tell me later, so I can update my own papers on that. Thank you.
Szanowni Państwo, chciałbym raz jeszcze bardzo serdecznie podziękować wszystkim uczestnikom naszych dotychczasowych obrad, panu dziekanowi za otwarcie naszych obrad, wszystkim referentom, a także uczestnikom dyskusji. Teraz przyszedł czas